Hurricane Helene impacts the nation and the disc golf community. There's word on another Worlds bid coming out of Europe for 2026. The dgpt championship is now finalized. Here's your reminder to upgrade your DGN subscription now if you want to watch any of the USDGC coverage and so much more this week in disc golf. What's going on, all you disc generates? It's me, Swiss Cheese, the one with all the holes in his game, and I'm with the Disc Golf World, the hardest working YouTube channel that gives you all your disc golf news from the tour, and more importantly, not in a podcast form. You are watching This Week in Disc Golf, where I cover all things disc golf from the past week. You guys already know I need to take the time to thank everyone on our growing Patreon page, and of course, you who are currently watching. You're all helping this channel tour along the pros, as we're proud to say the Disc Golf World is funded solely by you, the fans.
And subscribe to the Disc Golf World.
We have our final MVP Open Dealer Variant Tempo giveaway announcement. Thanks again goes out to our boys over at OTB East for providing one of you disc generates the opportunity to win this sick disc. And this week's winner is... Make sure to hit us up for your details on where to send your disc, my guy. The MVP Open continues to be one of the best tournaments year in and year out. And at this point of the year, certainly is the best on this season thus far. Features one of the greatest venues and the stellar play was all unmatched. You had tight battles on each side with some of the biggest names in the sport, both past and present, putting on a show for many in the attendance. Along with some of the solid performances from those fighting to earn a final spot into the championship. Hannah Wynn put her first 1,000 rated round together on the final day to hold on to her final spot by less than 1 point, to earn her way into the championship for her first time of her career. Truly a career-defining moment for her. And Corey Ellis, who wasn't considered in the race enough to make the press conference, was 57 points away from the final spot heading into the tournament, only to take a top 10 and earn a place onto the championship roster himself. That, and we can't forget those putts from both Missy and Proctor, which certainly will be difficult anyways, because they will be played on loop for years to come. That, and shout out to another round. Getting the exclusive on the backstory on Proctor's pause before that final putt is more the content this sport needs. If you guys want even more of a recap, make sure to go check out Monday's video like always. And while we're at it, we got an announcement for ourselves, as we will be doing our daily recaps again at this year's USDGC also. So peep those as they come out. The only thing that could dampen the mood from the event was the images and destruction that have been on display from Hurricane Helene. It has been a few days since the hurricane hit landfall. In the aftermath, countless individuals found themselves grappling with the loss of property, disruption of daily routines, devastation of communities, and the emotional toll of uncertainty. The impact has been immense as the death toll continues to climb over 180 people now. It is essential to honor the stories of those impacted and to support ongoing efforts for the rebuilding and healing. And though it seems minor at this time to state, the hurricane's toll has ravaged the disc golf community also. Its impact is still felt with touring pros' homes and communities having been rocked by this disaster, the canceling of events and tournaments, and even felt at this upcoming USDGC. However, our community's resiliency, the enduring human spirit in overcoming challenges, and the call to action hasn't been more present either. Word out of the International Disc Golf Center being hit and unplayable is not the news we want to hear, as they are redeveloping W.R. Jackson. Yet one of the biggest impacts has been the devastation of North Cove. Home to 3 courses, including 2 of which are currently on UDisc's top 100 list, this property has been home to the College Disc Golf Championship, along with a number of tournaments, including this year's Disc Golf Masters Tour finale. Kelly McMoran, manager of the tour, posted earlier this week that due to the devastation, the event that was scheduled at the end of the month was looking for another location, while also alluding to North Cove possibly being, quote, gone forever. An incredible loss if true on a season in which the community has already been notified of the future destruction of New London, home to this year's Worlds, and continued threats made by city officials on the closure of Stafford Woods. Fortunately for the event, Dave Mansfield, owner of the Rockford and Runaway Rocks, a private property course in Kittrell, North Carolina, stepped up like our community always seems to do, by not only holding the tournament but also allowing camping for the players, and was generous enough to donate a portion of the green fees directly to North Cove. Thanks to his and Kelly's efforts, the event not only continues, but is now helping raise much needed funds also. GK Pro had to cancel their Highland Disc Golf Skins event intended to be held at Highland Brewery in Asheville, North Carolina, one of the most impacted areas from Hurricane Helene. Luke Humphreys made a statement along with notifying the disc golf community that GK Pro, in partnership with Prodigy, will be creating a fundraising disc in which proceeds will be going directly to the foundation Beloved Asheville. GK Pro and Prodigy stepping up in this manner that allows the entire community to help those in Asheville needs to be heralded. Efforts like these by other manufacturers in the past has raised some large sums. Hopefully the same can be accomplished with this release. Once we get more information, we will certainly be sharing those links also. Raven Newsom shared the devastation of his hometown, Hot Springs, North Carolina also. His small town of only 600 has seen some serious flooding that has greatly impacted the town's main street. Raven, like so many in the community, did not stay idle and has since created a GoFundMe to help his home community. If you are able to donate no matter how small, the link for that will be shared below. And a quick disclaimer, if I've missed any other pro or manufacturer's efforts, I apologize sincerely. But if there is any opportunity that the disc golf world can help share, promote, or bring attention to fundraisers or GoFundMe efforts for disc golf recovery of impacted areas, please contact us. And we will do our best to bring attention to your efforts, as our community is nothing without each other. But the destruction certainly didn't stop there. As the players have made their way to Rock Hill, disc golf fans have realized even the Winthrop Arena course has been impacted by the hurricane also. Photos have been shared of flooding on the course and downed trees. Most impacted is the iconic Hole 5 with some extreme flooding. The course crew has made giant strides in efforts to get the arena cleaned and cleared before the doubles event this Friday, even draining Hole 5's flooded area. At least making the hole playable, though the water is at the highest and closest to the pin we have ever seen. The short turnaround to get the arena ready for the thousands coming for one of the most premier events on the year and major is an impressive feat, as undoubtedly, though maybe rough around the edges, will be the event of the year and still a party.
Beth at 69.
I just told myself, you just got to will this one in there. Whatever you have, just will it in there.
This man is unbelievable. This is what athletes live for. This is the moment.
And while we're on the topic of USDGC, DGN has sent emails and posts notifying subscribers that only their pro subscribers will have access to the live event. Basic and standard subscribers and all those watching on Joe Mez post coverage will have to wait 2 weeks before watching on those platforms. Why, as a paying monthly subscriber, you don't get any early access than the free option is a huge error in judgment. I understand wanting to drive your subscriber base to the premium status, and I'm not going to criticize that move or putting the product behind a paywall. However, not allowing your paying subscribers, some of which who have been paying for the entire year, mind you, the ability to watch any coverage prior to the Joe Mez free post coverage option is kind of insulting if you ask me. Even with the option of watching the live broadcast if you prefer that. And while we're at it, why not an earlier access for those Patreon members who contribute to Joe Mez and ultimately the tour pockets also? Because for the many who still don't realize, they are both owned by the same party. Lumping those who are contributing to your efforts and your bottom line with those simply using your free option for only that makes about as much sense as those in our comments using basketball courtside spectators as a comparison to how close disc golf fans should be allowed to the players. Sure, the dgpt has security checks, metal detectors, and hundreds of paid posted security to handle any issues like the NBA. But yeah, they are close to the players, so completely makes sense in the argument, right? The DGN have now given little to no reason for those subscribers to drop their coverage or Patreon, which is much needed funds for the tour as rumors continue to circulate on their viability following a season of declined attendance sales. And for that reason, this trend will almost certainly continue and more than likely get even worse next season. Also this week, reports from the disc golf fanatic himself revealed the team behind this year's successful European Disc Golf Festival have submitted a bid to host the 2026 PDGA Worlds. I know many of you listening to here in the States are currently turning up your noses at the idea of a world championship being held overseas for 2 years in a row. Yet the event was the most financially supported venue this year, with even rumored support from the national government of Estonia, unmatched by any other event here in the States, and possibly some combined. That and the statements from the pros have been well documented as the most professional stop on tour, made by some of the best in the game who have been in the sport for some time also. Now that being said, the city of Tallinn have some more roadblocks than just possibly competing with another Nate Heinold bid. Which if that happens, it's almost a guaranteed dub. they're going to need to hard sell development of another course on a separate property, which they have already slated the Kadriag Presidential Park as that location. It features 70 hectares or 173 acres, Kadriag Palace, now a museum, Japanese gardens, and so much more. I'm not going to lie, while doing my research, as far as a city park layout, it has the potential for one of the most scenic landscapes ever, yet not so sure as far as having much elevation, which was some of the viewers' complaints at this year's European Disc Golf Festival. It's difficult to note some of the other roadblocks without knowledge of the other bids, as only this team has publicly announced. There are expectations and rumors of a West Coast bid out in Stockton, home of OTB Open, especially following next year's major allotment for Champions Cup. That, and we can't forget the unification of Portland Open and Beaver State Fling forming next year's Northwest Disc Golf Championship either. Could be a prelude for a future bid themselves. That and the politics of these bids have certainly been on display years prior. New London won a world selection on an unproven tournament-ready course, and that selection was over well-established UC Maresma's bid for Nokia, home of the Beast, and Tampere, the 2025 Worlds location. It will be difficult for the Tallinn team to win in my eyes, but there should be excitement that following this year's festival, they want to be bigger and better. As they state, they are shooting for the global epicenter of disc golf. But guys, I certainly am interested to hear your thoughts on Tallinn possibly winning a Worlds bid in the comments below. Now, let's move to some quick hitters. Nate Doss isn't done playing for the season as he's heading to Winthrop to play at this year's USDGC. Disc golf was also featured in some mainstream sports. Lauri Markkanen was asked about disc golf in his Jazz Media Day press conference, and UFC welterweight fighter Stephen Thompson gets a round in on UFC 307 Embedded. That and Discmania hints they will be leaning in on a Boy Scout stamp for an upcoming Antala release. Silva Saarinen got some sightseeing in during the break, visiting both Boston and New York City. Adam Hammes and the boys got treated to some fine dining in DC at night. Garrett Gerthy likes the simpler things, instead going with a cheesesteak. I know Gerthy knows his beef, but the sight of that clogs me up. While on the meat sweats, Holland celebrated her second in DGPT points by using the trophy to hold some meatballs. That and our boy Thomas Huhtinen visits IKEA for some meatballs of his own and washed it down by ripping on an ATV, while Erica Stitchcomb and Luke Humphreys chose to ride some tandem bikes. Zach Melton, the sweetheart, saved some kittens, and even I'm not that much of a dick to make a joke there. But Chandler Fry, in my opinion, had the best joke at MVP with banana bread at work? Hell yeah. And guys, that wraps up this week in disc golf. If you've enjoyed and not subscribed, make sure to do so. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, comment, and share.
I mean, the vibe is insane. I mean, I don't know how anybody could think it's too much. I can tell you that. This is, if you're coming to this and you ain't coming to hole 8 and hanging out for a while, you ain't doing it right. And that's my opinion. I mean, come on.